There are a few live-action movies this year that I haven't done videos on or I haven't talked about that I'm going to talk about in this video just to say what I think of them. There's still a lot of movies that came out this year that I still haven't seen that people have praised, so I'll probably see them at some point, and I might do another video like this at the end of the year. But right now, let's just talk about these movies. The first couple of movies are both movies that have monster in the title. The first one is A Monster Calls, which I saw back in January, and I think I actually had it on my best live-action movies list. Even though I didn't do a video on it, I just went to go see it, and then I made the list. But A Monster Calls was really good. I really enjoyed it. It's one of the few movies that has actually made me cry. It's about a kid trying to deal with his dying mother, and that's like something very serious to take on. Of course it has the Liam Neeson Groot monster, but there are actually some really interesting animated portions of this movie as well. Not just with the Liam Neeson monster, but also animated sections in general, which I was actually very surprised by, and I was happy about. So if you haven't seen A Monster Calls, I would highly recommend it. However, something that I would not recommend that I watched was Monster Trucks. I regret not doing a video on this because Monster Trucks would have been a great movie to do a video about. But back in January and a lot of this year, I was being very frustrated with trying to make videos. So unfortunately, that wasn't a time where I was really motivated to make some, so I just regret not making one. Because Monster Trucks is really just something else. It's so weird. But not in a good way. It's pretty bad. There's a point where Creech opens his mouth and it looks terrifying. And the bad thing about that is that's the redesign. Apparently it looked even scarier. Like I said, I would not recommend it. However, I would recommend the fan animation that somebody did for the Pizza Party podcast talking about monster trucks. The next movie is something that I watched pretty recently. It was on Netflix, is The Founder. This stars Michael Keaton and how the founder of McDonald's sort of made McDonald's and found McDonald's from these two brothers that had their restaurants. And then there's a bunch of, like, legal stuff between those two. And the movie is very good at making it a very interesting story. And Michael Keaton, of course, has a great performance. He's really had a great past few years in acting. It might still be on Netflix, so if it is, go check it out. Another movie I watched that was actually released on Netflix is Okja. This is from the same director that did Snowpiercer. And Okja is about this weird super pig that was created to make a food to end world hunger, and it's very weird. It sort of goes for this kid and the kid's monster vibe, but it also has some things about, I guess, animal cruelty and everything. But then, like, they're also trying to fix world hunger. It's really strange. It comes across as a very mixed message. However, I wouldn't say that it's completely bad. It's definitely interesting. I'd really only watch it if you're super curious about it. Now, these next two are probably the best on this list, at least to come out this year, because A Monster Calls is technically 2016, so I had that on my 2016 live-action movies list. But these two are probably going to be on my 2017 live-action movies list. And the first one is Get Out, directed by Jordan Peele, who has mainly been in comedy, has written a horror movie, and he's actually really good at it. There was a bit of controversy when the trailer for this movie came out, but don't mind the trailer. It's not exactly what you think it is. There's a lot more going on than what you see at the surface level. It's hard to say anything else without spoiling it, so if you haven't seen it, watch it. Especially if you like classically directed horror movies, because it's kinda like that. It actually has a sort of a Hitchcock Twilight Zone vibe to it. Then the last movie I want to mention is actually probably my favorite movie from this year that's not animated, and that's Baby Driver. Though I saw Baby Driver before the Kevin Spacey stuff happened, so I have what I thought of it before and what I thought of it after, because I did see it again after the Kevin Spacey stuff happened when it released on Blu-ray. I know it's important to separate the art from the artist, but now after the Kevin Spacey stuff happened, what I thought of the movie afterwards, Kevin Spacey's role in this movie has a completely different meaning. I mean, there's this teenager who is trapped in doing something he doesn't want to do, and Kevin Spacey is the one making him do it. Yeah, but other than that awkwardness, the movie is fantastic. It does some amazing things with sound design that is really awesome. If you didn't see this in the theater, I would at least recommend going to a friend's house that has a good sound system and watching it that way. Or if you at least have some kind of surround sound system. So those are some live action movies that I saw this year that I didn't talk about in single videos, but I'll probably talk about again at some point. I know a few of them will be on my end of the year lists. So if you have seen any of the movies that I talked about in this video, tell me down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Well, by now we're getting a bit used to winter. We're like soldiers in the middle of a campaign, growing hardened to discomfort and better able to take